Welcome to another episode of the Eshelmania TV vlogcast, Eshelmania TV YouTube channel. A lot of stuff going on. It's almost the end of October here. We got less than a week to go, which means the year is almost over. And we're all hoping that 2022 is going to be better than 2021, but it's not looking like it's going to start out that way, right? We're running into issues with lots of shortages, all the shipping issues, and prices are going up on everything, but there is some good stuff going on out there right now. Here in the Northeast, it's that time of the year where the days are getting shorter. It's getting dark out earlier. The leaves on the trees are starting to turn yellow and brown and slowly falling off. So it's got all that really cool scenery across the mountains and out through the wooded areas like where we live. The grass is still growing though. It's insane how much the grass is growing right now. Just crazy for it to be growing this much this late in the year or this late in the mowing season. Um, Professional sports. If you're into sports, man, this is the best time of year to be a sports fan. You've got Major League Baseball playoffs, the NFL season's going on, NHL and NBA seasons they just started. You got college football. The Major League Baseball playoffs were getting ready to start the World Series. Going to be the Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros facing off there. That's the first time that we've ever seen those two teams matched up in the World Series, so that'll be interesting. NFL season's already over a quarter of the way through. Some crazy stuff been going on there, but man, some of the teams that you thought were going to be there at the end are doing really well. Obviously, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, they're on a roll. Then there's some surprise teams, that are doing really well. The Arizona Cardinals still undefeated. Cincinnati Bengals sitting basically on top of the AFC right now. The Kansas City Chiefs, everybody picked to do so great, not doing so well. They're getting blown out here a couple games and just not living up to the expectations. And it'll be interesting to see how the second half of the season goes. A lot of teams are going into their bye weeks now. They're starting them, so we'll see. It'll be interesting. Some of these division races and playoff spots will come down to the wire, so that'll always be exciting to see that stuff going on. When it gets closer to crunch time there. Um, College football, lots of stuff going on there, man. There's been some big upsets. The other week, I came home and it was late at night. I was getting ready to do some computer work, and I thought I'd turn the TV on for some background noise. And there was the Alabama and who was that? Alabama and Oklahoma, I guess. Yeah, where Alabama was upset. I mean, that was a crazy game, unbelievable. Nick Saban, he wasn't too happy about that one. That was for sure. So also, if you're an outdoor enthusiast, around here hunting season, we got buck season coming in here in a little bit, archery season, all that stuff's happening. So it's just that time of the year, bonfires and flannel shirts and hoodies, and start getting ready to eat a lot of soup and the warm comfort foods and everything. So yeah, it's always a good time. This is the time of year where we like to get out there and just do some of that light yard work, the leaf cleanup, and hang out with friends and stuff. Get around to some of the last outdoor events that are going on before the weather gets really crappy. And there's a few of them going on around here, but not as many as before. It's still the whole COVID thing is still got a lot of stuff screwed up. Better than it was this time last year, but it's still not the same as it used to be. And speaking of that, another thing that just happened here was obviously the GIE show down in Louisville, Kentucky. That just wrapped up, and I get the whole idea of just wanting to get back out there and do it because everything was canceled last year. But I've got to wonder what was everybody hoping to sell people that came through there. If you're not familiar with the GIE show, this is the one where all the manufacturers, the big time manufacturers in the outdoor power equipment industry go and they put their best and brightest stuff on display and, try to really hook people and get people drawn into their products and to their brand. They got all their best reps out there. The commercial guys are down there checking the stuff out. Dealers are down there checking the stuff out. It's the big to do. This is the granddaddy of them all for outdoor power equipment. And all the big time manufacturers, they're all still struggling to get product out there from earlier in this year. So I get it, getting back to the way things were and all that stuff, and you want to show people that, hey, look, we've got a lot going on, we got a lot, in the future here coming out, but how soon is anybody going to get that stuff? Um, I can think of a lot of manufacturers: Steel, Echo, Husqvarna, Simplicity, Snapper, Ferris, Toro, Exmark. They're all dealing with tons of back order issues. Uh, Ego, they had some. They've done pretty well at supplying stuff, but now their products have become so popular that it's not even just a back order issue with theirs. They make X amount of product of a certain product for the year, and it just sells out right away. So, you know, from what I understand, mentioning Ego, they didn't even have a spot down there. They didn't even have a booth because, well, they've just been doing so much business. They didn't really have to go do it. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I get it. You want to show everybody what you got going on, and that's great. It's good to see the progression of equipment and how things are evolving and what's to come. But man, it's still gonna be a struggle for all of us in 2022 because a lot of the stuff that we ordered for the spring of 2021 and shortly after the spring of 2021 hasn't arrived yet. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. But if you were like me and you played the at-home version of GIE and you just checked the stuff out that was coming up on social media, you probably noticed the same thing that I did. There was a lot of robotic stuff down there. A lot of robotic stuff on display. I mean, you had the robotic mowers, similar to the Husqvarna Automowers. Let's face it, if if a company doesn't already have one out there, or isn't telling you that they have one coming out soon, you should probably just know that behind closed doors they're working on one and scrambling to get one together to put out there because that is the way everything's getting ready to go. And you can say nope. You can give all the excuses in the world why it's not as good as a gas powered mower or a gas powered zero turn and all this stuff. But this year has proven an even stronger need for something like that. Not so much because of the quality of the gas powered equipment, but the fact that people don't have employees to run the gas powered equipment because people just aren't going to work. Robotic mowers show up to work every day. There's more and more landscapers now that you see it on social media and stuff asking questions, and we get more calls and emails from landscapers asking, "Hey, give us some information on this. Is is this going to be a way that I can? Is there going to be a way that I can incorporate this into my business and have it be profitable?" And there is. There definitely is. We've been working with a big landscaper down in the south there, and they've been doing very well. And there's a couple more of them here in our area that have been working with them with the Automowers. And if you're connected to the right dealer that actually knows what they're doing, and you have the ambition to do this, yeah, it's very profitable. So that's why you're going to see this. Not only that, but I know multiple manufacturers that make lawn tractors, and those lawn tractors are still on back order. Several of the models of their lawn tractors are on back order from the spring of 2021. So how many do you think they're going to have for the spring of 2022 till they get done just filling those leftover orders from 2021? It's going to be a scramble to get them. Most of the places you went to this year were out of lawn tractors. You couldn't find them anywhere. The ones coming in, prices are going through the roof. You know what happened with Automowers this year? They decreased the price on them. The all-wheel drives, they went down $300. The other models went down about $200 each, while tractors just up through the roof, skyrocketing up because of all the steel in them. So right there are two huge reasons why you're going to start to see more of those out there. Now, aside from those, the other thing that you were seeing in the robotic line were, guys like Ed Wright with his standers and that he's putting robotics on, and Xmark, they bought out a company so that they bought out a robotics company to put the technology onto their zero turns and stuff. So it's going to be a combination. They're doing hybrids. They're going to have gas powered engines, but they're going to have the robotics, the artificial intelligence incorporated into the machine. If you go onto like Ed Wright's Facebook page, or you follow him on Instagram or any of that stuff on social media, you already know this because he's been posting videos of of these machines. This stuff that they've been out there testing out for quite a while. And I believe Xmark, I think they've even put a couple videos out here and there. John Deere can't be too far behind because that's the way they're going with a lot of their big agricultural equipment. So yeah, it's happening. Fight it all you want, make excuses as to why it's no good and why it won't work for you, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to start to learn how to use it and how to make it profitable for your business, or you're not going to last much longer because it's just what you're going to have to adapt to. Not so much because that's going to be all there is to buy, but because there's still no signs of people willing to come back to work in large enough waves to fill all these jobs that are available. So something to keep in mind there. Another thing that's always big right now is the battery powered equipment. A lot of companies are scrambling to get new battery powered stuff out there, but the companies that have been making it for quite a while, they've been making improvements to theirs. Ego has a bunch of stuff coming out. Again, they weren't down there at GIE, but man, I can tell you, they have a bunch of stuff coming out here in 2022. They have some pretty cool stuff coming out. I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. I just asked about that again today. Still not allowed to talk about it. But yeah, look forward to what they've got coming out. Husqvarna's got a few things that they're modifying that they got some stuff that's already in their lineup, but they're modifying it and making it a little bit better. Obviously, Greenworks is going to have stuff coming out. It's going to be new products and improved versions of old stuff they had. Um, and then with everything going on in California, they passed the legislation to ban the sale of gas powered new equipment, and I think that's going to take place in I don't remember what year it was now. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was 2035 for the for the automotive industry. I can't remember for the power equipment industry, but there was a little asterisk there. It's going to be by this year or when feasible. So out there in California, the battery powered stuff, the robotic mowers, you're definitely gonna be seeing a lot more of that because there's no other way to go. Once that goes into effect, what are you gonna do? Um, you can say, yeah, it's California. We can make all of our comments that we want about California and how things are out there, but everybody eventually caves to California. Believe me, I'm not saying that that's right. I don't agree with it, but years ago this started. You would have the big box stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, and all them. They're sending product out to their stores in every area, every state. Well, California started to get stricter emissions regulations and everything, so you would start to see these push mowers and stuff on the box. They'd be labeled "Not for sale in California," "Not for sale in California." Lawn tractors, "Not for sale in California." So much of the stuff you would see it like that. So because you had the stuff you could sell in California and the stuff you couldn't sell in California, these big box stores that have their stores everywhere in every state, they would have to pay somebody to separate that stuff. They would have to pay the manufacturers to make a separate product or ship them a separate product that they could sell in California. They slowly just got sick of that and said, just send us all the stuff that'll work in California and we'll just sell it everywhere. And that's what's happened. You don't see it as much anymore, right? Because it's easier on them. If they get the stuff in that they can sell anywhere, they don't have to store it in another warehouse. They don't have to pay somebody to separate it. They don't have to have a separate SKU. Some of the manufacturers, they do that on their own. They have a separate SKU for equipment made for use in California. But my point is, that's been happening more and more, and a lot of us haven't even realized it, that we've been letting that be pushed that far. So now when all this goes into effect out there, I mean, we're already pretty low on the amount of companies that build gas powered push mowers right now. Yeah, Toro, they build some good stuff yet. Honda builds some good stuff yet. Who do you got after that? MTD? MTD is taking a beating on push mowers because they have to make the Craftsman line for Lowe's and for Ace and whoever else wants to sell it. They've got the Troy Belt line, the Cub Cadet stuff. They cut out their entire Columbia brand because the demand for equipment from Cub Cadet and Craftsman and all that and Troy Belt was so high after Husqvarna stopped making their walk behind mowers and the ones they made for everybody else. So they're having a hard time keeping up with the demand for the push mowers from them. Toro, man, Toro, they just couldn't do it this year. They're supplying them to Ace Hardware. They're supplying them to Tractor Supply, to their Toro dealers, and what, Home Depot or somebody else. I think they couldn't keep up with it. About what, a month and a half into summer, 2 months into summer, they're like, "Yep, that's it. We've got no more. We cannot sell you anymore because we just don't have them. You're not going to have any more until next year." That was it. So if that demand increases any more with nobody there to build the stuff, supply chains just being strangled because nothing's coming in, nothing's being shipped in to be able to build the stuff. It's not going to be any better in 2022. So what'll happen is people are going to have to buy what's available, and there's a lot of battery options out there. Look at how many brands or look at how many OEMs make a battery powered push mower right now. You've got brands like Echo and Steel that didn't even make gas powered mowers, but they've got battery powered mowers. You got Cobalt, you've got Greenworks, Ryobi has a bunch of them. Husqvarna has them. Ego, of course, they have them. Man, the list goes on and on. There's so many of them out there, and most of those companies have multiple models of battery powered push mowers. So it's going to be out there. It's going to be easy for people to take it, and once somebody in the family takes one and they get hooked on it, it's going to spread. That's what's been happening for the past 2 or 3 years now. The battery powered push mower industry is just taking off like you wouldn't believe. Obviously, it has to be, or companies like Steel and Echo wouldn't bother to have a battery powered push mower. And the people that buy them, most of the people don't come back complaining. And yeah, there's going to be people that will complain, but if you're around this stuff all the time, or around a place that sells that kind of stuff all the time, and you were a place that sells the gas powered stuff, you know that there's a lot less complaints about the battery powered push mowers, walk behind mowers from the people that buy them than there is from the gas powered ones, because there's less to go wrong. It's easier to fix if something does go wrong, but there's just less upkeep, there's less maintenance. And for, let's say over 2 years, you might get, 5% of the people that bought a battery powered walk behind or push mower coming in complaining of an issue. And it's pretty easy to diagnose it because everything's electric, fairly simple, straightforward. The guys with the gas powered equipment, they're coming in, after 1 year when they go to get it back out, complaining it won't start, complaining about this and that because they didn't maintain it properly. They didn't store it properly, left gas in it. They put old gas in it. They have watered down gas in it. They left it sit outside. Their air filter's full of rainwater. They didn't change the oil in it. Their spark plugs fouled. So many things. And yeah, it's not the fault of the equipment, but you're still getting all them complaints. And it's more complaints than you get from the people that own the battery powered stuff. So, it again, I'm not saying I'm for one way or the other. I'm just telling you right now that that's where everything is going, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. The manufacturers of this equipment, they can't do anything about it. Toro can't. Toro can't say, "All right, you know, We need to crank out 7,000 more mowers this month. They don't have the steel to do it. They don't have the manpower to do it. What are they going to do? Um, you look at the lawn tractors, like I was saying, Husqvarna lawn tractors on back order, been on back order for a while. Maybe you don't know about this one, and I guess we can talk about this because they sent it out in an email to all the dealers and stuff. But Husqvarna, the way they were going to tier their tractor lineup in 2022 was their their lower end consumer line. We're all going to have Briggs and Stratton engines. The 200 series was going to have Kohler engines, and their 300 series was going to have Kawasaki engines. Well, last year, if you remember, Husqvarna started out. They were going to have uh, a TS 142X, TS 142, and I believe it was the TS 148X. It might have been another one in there, but they were supposed to come through with Briggs and Stratton engines in them. Briggs and Stratton V twins, I believe, and they sent out an email like, man, I don't even know if mowing season had started yet, and they sent out an email saying, hey, Briggs and Stratton said they can't supply us enough engines, so we're gonna put Kohlers in them. We're gonna add a K to the end of the model number, so you know which one's which. Price is gonna be like $100 higher because we have to get these engines from Kohler now, and we have to adapt them into the existing tractors and change all this stuff. And blah blah blah. So last year Briggs screwed them over, and now this year again already, or I shouldn't say this year again already, but for 2022 apparently Briggs has done the same thing to the point where Husqvarna announced that they filed a lawsuit against them for a breach of contract. So my point there is, even if Husqvarna wanted to, even if they wanted to push more mowers out there, if they said, "All right, you know what, we're going to have mandatory overtime," we're going to go to mandatory like 18-hour shifts. They don't have the manpower to do that. They don't have the supplies to do that to keep the mowers coming. And it's out of their control. And I'm giving them as an example, but it's the same way with all the other brands. It just isn't feasible right now. There's no possible way this could happen unless people start going back to work. The supply chains open up. The cost of steel and all that stuff would come back down a little bit. Um, it's just tough right now. So yeah, it doesn't look good for 2022. And like I'm saying, with these brands down there at GIE showing off this stuff, it's great. It's awesome to see the advancements. But what are we going to have in 2022? Do you have any answers? Because I doubt that you do, and I don't. I just don't see how you can have any answers. It's too. The waters are too murky at this point to have a good, clear prediction of what's going to go on or what's going to be available. The other thing there's so many ways to look at all this stuff with like everything down at GIE, like I'm talking about, and I got to thinking about it. And it's like, you know what? They're down there. These guys are down there and they're showing off like their fancy new products they got, and they're trying to draw people in and say, "Hey, we have this coming out. Probably won't be here in 2022, but look for it at the end of 2022. Maybe put your orders in, and we'll have it in 2023." And I know that this probably happens every year down there, but this year for sure, because so much stuff is going to be pushed back. The availability and the release date of it is going to be pushed back so far. It's like you're there with your booth set up. You're like, "Hey, look at this awesome, amazing thing we got. We're the only ones in North America that have this." And you're basically saying to the guy in the booth next to you, "Look at what we got. You've got 1 year to catch up to us now because we're not going to be able to put this out there for at least one more year. So you go back home, you do your homework, and you can compete with us right away." Oh man. Again, like I said, that I'm sure that's the same thing every year, just because that's how the industry works, right? Everybody's got to copy whatever the hot new thing is, the hot new trend. As I'm saying with the robotic mowers, you look at the Husqvarna Automowers, and you've got so many different brands of them out there now. A version of the Automower. Um, the ironic part is though, every time there's a new brand that comes out, everybody thinks that's going to be the one. It's going to be the one that's going to outdo Husqvarna. So far, they haven't. Uh, you know, There's a lot of them out there. I thought when Gardner Cannell became a distributor for Ambrosio, I thought, wow, they're going to fill in the missing elements that have held Ambrosio back, which was tech support, parts availability, and just an overall, eh, you know, marketing and understanding the equipment, getting that out there to the public. And what they're in their what was it second year, I guess, of dealing with them, and not a whole lot happening there. I mean, there might be pockets here and there that have done okay, a few dealers here and there, but I personally know a guy who's selling 100 Automowers a year, signed up to be an Ambrosio dealer, has sold zero in a year and a half or 2 years, zero. Yeah, and it's not like he's not trying because he's got them there and he's got to sell them, but it's just not happening. Uh, I I don't want to try to speculate what the issue is, but it's not as simple of a system. The wiring system is not as simple as the Husqvarna, and there's a few other differences there. But anyway, I thought for sure that maybe they would give them a run for their money. They didn't. I was pretty excited about the Greenworks model because I thought, all right, if anybody has the opportunity to be the competition, it's got to be these guys because the backstory to all this is there was some people from Husqvarna that left Husqvarna and went to work for Greenworks, and that's who was involved with the design and engineering of the Greenworks Optimo. And you've seen the videos here on this channel. We got a follow up one, at least one more to do, and tell you about the results of our experience with our Optimo. But close your ears if you don't want to hear any spoilers. But spoiler alert, it it wasn't as impressive as we hoped it would be. We had a 315, a straight 315 out here in our yard, and it didn't do as well as that one did. I say a straight 315, a straight 315 Husqvarna Automower, and by straight I mean no X at the end of it, the plain Jane model. Yeah, and our Optimo didn't do as well as it. So we'll get into more of that later on in our follow up video and explain to you why and give you some good comparisons there. But the thing about it is, if that Optimo couldn't compete with that 315, then it's not going to compete with a 315X, which is the upgraded version of the 315 with all the bells and whistles. And if it can't compete with that in 2022, if you haven't heard, they're bringing the 415X over here from Europe to North America. And the 415X is significantly better than the 315X, specced out to cover about the same amount of land and all that stuff, but way better features. You think about some of the stuff that if you have a 315X, you think about the main features that you wish that mower had, and I bet you, if you can name 5 features you wish that 315X had, the 415X is going to have at least 4 out of 5 of them, and it's just going to be a better all around machine. So there's no way that Optimo would compete with that 415X. The only place it would get it would be on price. You can talk about the Works Android all you want, but it's a basic machine. Yeah, okay, it can compete with a 115H. It could compete maybe with a 310, maybe a 315. Oh boy, yeah, it can do edge cutting. You know how many Automower customers that I've personally had that have complained about having uh, an Automower and that it didn't edge cut? Like maybe 1 out of 40. And I'm probably exaggerating at that point because it's very rare that we hear that. Most of them will see what the mower can do, and they'll go around there and they'll modify their yard and their landscaping so that they don't have to worry about it. That's it. It's just done. They'd rather have a mower that does better everywhere else in the mowing area than just better around the edges. So, yeah, Landroid's not going to quite compete with like a 430X, a 450X. The all-wheel drives, any of those. I mean, Husqvarna's got a good system, and the smart thing they did was they put patents on everything. So it really just holds the competition back. Those patents are building a wall that are keeping the competition at bay because there's just so much going on in the lawns here in our yards here in North America compared to over in Europe. Over in Europe, a lot of these other brands will work great and have worked great for years. Ambrosio, Viking, which is we have the equivalent to that here in the United States, but it's under the steel name. Viking does great over there, from what I hear. Um, there's quite a few of them. Go on Instagram, you'll see just a shitload of robotic mower companies and brands over there in Europe that you don't see here in the United States. But here in the U.S., Husqvarna's just got the market cornered because they have things like the guide wires, and the way the guide wire works is the big thing. Yeah, that Greenworks Optimo has a guide wire. It has the ability to use a guide wire, and that guide wire system on it does not work as well as the guide wire system on the Husqvarnas. And the reason for that is patents. They're only allowed to go so far. They're only allowed to have so much of that before they're in violation of the patents that Husqvarna holds for this stuff. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite a while before anybody um, really takes over that spot from them as the number one robotic lawnmower here in North America. Oh, Honda. Honda was another one. I already thought for sure Honda builds just amazing stuff that lasts and runs forever, and Honda is going to be the one because Honda is quality and all this stuff. Yep, Honda Mimo has not done it. It hasn't. It hasn't taken off like they hoped it would. It just doesn't compete very well. Maybe in a few years if they can make some advancements to it, but it just you don't see them out there, do you? And there's a reason for that. Same way with the steel IMO. Nah, just isn't cutting it. Everybody thought, oh yeah, yeah, that fixed blade, the standard style mower blade on there. We got to have that. That was the selling point. Okay, a lot like that works Landroid. You got that one feature, and then what? The rest of it just didn't do as good. So yeah, they haven't taken off like Steel hoped they would. Um, yeah, it's their game to lose this point with Husqvarna and the Automowers, and there's a lot of big changes coming there. There's been a lot of changes throughout the hierarchy uh, down here in Charlotte, in the corporate structure of Husqvarna North America. And from what I understand, and I got my fingers crossed, there's going to be some more big changes coming, and that whole product line is going to get cleaned up, and the dealer channel is going to get cleaned up, and then you're going to really see that product take off. All right, we got one little thing here yet to talk about with Automowers. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible, but here's the thing. If you're a fan of this channel, especially if you're a fan of the video series that we've done on here called Automower Answers, which we've got a ton of awesome feedback from, a ton of compliments on. We can't thank you guys enough for that. It was amazing the response we got from people, not just here near us or here in the United States, but all over the freaking world. Ireland, Scotland, Australia, Africa, Europe, Canada. Amazing, absolutely amazing. The people we had reaching out to us, thanking us, and they were asking questions and wanting to know just a little bit more. Then just absolutely awesome. So we can't thank you enough for that. Secondly, on that note, I take full responsibility for the fact that those videos, that series, was not kept up with. Things got to be too busy. Things got out of hand, with our schedules and everything. So, what we want to do is we're going to bring that back. We're gonna start making those videos again, but with a little bit of a twist. We have a channel called Robotic Mower Services, and on there you can find a whole bunch of good Automower information, technical support stuff, all kinds of good stuff. We just finished up. I shouldn't say we just finished up. We have a series going on right now that we've been adding to on there about no loop signal errors. And if you ever had that error, usually it's a broken wire or something to that extent. We've got a collection of videos that we're going to keep adding to that show you how to diagnose just about everything and anything with a no loop error, from testing your transformer to your low voltage cable to checking the resistance in your wire to know whether you got a cut, whether you got high resistance, or your wire is actually good. It's a charging station problem. Showing you how to use the mower to check for the signal quality coming from your boundary wire into the mower and things like that. So check that out. But anyway, back to what we got going on with Automower Answers. We're going to be making those videos. They're going to premiere on the Robotic Mower Services YouTube channel. They're also going to be available on the Robotic Mower Services website, www.roboticmowerservices.com. And after they premiere on there, then a couple weeks later, they'll show up here on Eshelmania TV, and they'll be added to the playlist here on Eshelmania TV, right along with the other ones that are already here on this channel. So you'll have them in one nice little library there. You will have them available on Robotic Mower Services YouTube channel going forward, and like I said, on the website. Now, we encourage you to go to the Robotic Mower Services YouTube channel and subscribe, because, like I said, those videos are going to premiere there first. There's already a ton of good information on there, on that channel. And there's a promotion going on right now. You might have seen the video here on Eshelmania TV. You may have seen it on the Robotic Mower Services YouTube channel. Or if you go to www.roboticmowerservices.com, you can find the promotion on there as well, where if you subscribe to the Robotic Mower Services YouTube channel, you take a screenshot, take a picture with your phone, whatever, email it to roboticmowerservices@gmail.com, or you can go onto the website and to contact us, and you can submit the picture there. Send that in, and you will get a discount code for parts on the Robotic Mower Services website. It will be 10% off a parts order. It's a one-time use. Any parts that you place on your order, wheels, tires, front caster wheels, headlights, all the stuff that be considered a part, you'll get 10% off of it on that one order. Now, things like terrain kits, spools of wire, cleaning kits, that stuff, that's all accessories, that won't count. But, guys are buying wheel motors, they're buying cutting motors and that kind of stuff, and they're saving some good money. So, reach out to us after you subscribe to that channel. Send the email in with your proof of subscription, and you'll get an email back saying, hey, here's your discount code. This is what goes on. This is how you do it, and blah, blah, blah. So you can save yourself a bunch of money. So you're going to get a whole bunch of information. You're going to get first access to the Automower Answers videos. You'll get the alert, when they come out. And you're going to have access to just all the other information on there for Automowers and stuff. And it's all free to you. All you got to do is go to subscribe to it. Simple as that. So you'll still see some other random Automower stuff popping up here on Eshelmania TV from time to time. But the Automower Answers videos, just to be able to get them out there to you a little bit faster and to help consolidate things. And just the fact that if we have them available here, we have them available on that channel, and we have them available on the website, it's going to be easier to reach more people and help more people with their issues and get more people educated on this product. Because we know firsthand, probably better than just about anybody, the lack of support that a lot of you guys have out there in your areas. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you guys out as much as possible with that stuff, because we know it's a large investment. We know it can work. You just need a little bit of guidance to help tweak the things that are going wrong and help diagnose those things that are going wrong to make everything just work a whole lot better and be more consistent. So that's what we're going to do. Again, Robotic Mower Services YouTube channel. Check it out on here. Subscribe to it. www.roboticmowerservices.com. Check out the website. Sign up to be a member. That way you can catch any other special deals that are coming out later on here, possibly in the winter and for sure in the spring. All right, so that was all of our talk there. We're done talking about Automowers in this episode. We're done talking about robotic mowers in this episode because we're about out of time for this episode. But before I just ramble on out of here, let's talk about what we got coming up next episode. The next episode, what I want to get into is the habit that a lot of us have, and that is the late night Amazon shopping. And some of the stuff that we find on there, some of the stuff we buy that we shouldn't, some of the good deals we find that we actually needed. I would love to hear from you guys. What you've bought off of the internet in general. Maybe it wasn't Amazon. Maybe it was like Walmart.com or some other website. What have you bought? Late at night when you're surfing the net. On some some type of website like Amazon or something like that. Because we just bought a Coleman Inflatable Hot Tub. Yeah, we bought that off of Amazon. When I say we, it was actually me. But anyway, we'll get into talking about that and this inflatable hot tub and everything that followed after that. And I'm really really trying to twist her arm to get her to come on here and give some feedback and get her commentary on this. But I'm not sure if Miss Amaretto will be willing to join or not. But I would love to have you guys hear from her about all this. We'll see. Not sure if I can get that to happen, but either way, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the fines that we've come up with from Amazon and from some of these other places, and the stuff we've been able to do around here, and some of the projects we got going on because of the fact that we were just up late at night surfing the web, and we'd look for one thing, and next thing you know, we're buying like five other things because we think, hey, you know what, we'll just add this to the project too. So that should be an interesting episode. Again, I would love to hear from you guys ahead of time. Shoot us an email at eshelmaniatv@gmail.com. Let us know some of the stuff that you guys have bought when you're surfing late at night, and say your Christmas shopping, birthday shopping, or shopping for supplies for a project or something like that, and what you've come across and just couldn't resist. Um, that is, I believe, going to do it for this episode. As always, be sure to subscribe to this channel. We thank you for watching, listening. Um, Check out the other channel I mentioned, Robotic Mower Services YouTube channel. Check that out. Look for the offers on there. That's really it. We appreciate your support. We love hearing your feedback, your comments. So, eshelmaniatv@gmail.com, or you can comment on this link here for this video. Either way, whichever one works best for you. But that's a wrap on this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.